The player took a shot, but the bet lost. How is that even possible? Sports betting is deeply connected to the world of sports, and sports are full of emotions. Unfortunately, also the negative ones. Bettors lose more often than they win, but if that loss comes from fair competition on the field, it can be accepted. The problem starts when bettors feel cheated, not by football players, but by the companies providing the sports statistics. Player bets have become increasingly popular in recent years. More and more bettors add these types of events to their slips, which are settled based on Opta statistics. Opta is one of the most reputable companies in the world when it comes to collecting and analyzing sports data. They provide match stats for football clubs, media, sports apps, and bookmakers like Bet365. They've been on the market for almost 30 years and are now the industry leader. What sets them apart is that their stats are updated live during matches by analysts. All the action on the pitch is assessed according to strict guidelines, which are publicly available on their website. These include stats like shots on target, fouls, tackles and offsides. Opta data is the foundation for bet settlement at many sportsbooks, which often leads to controversy when the interpretation of stats differs from what fans see on TV. Imagine this. You place a bet on a player to have 2 shots on target. You put your phone down to charge and watch the match. Over 90 minutes, you clearly count 3 shots on target. You log into your betting app and the bet slip is marked as lost. Why? Opta records just 1 shot on target. How is that possible when you counted 3? These are everyday occurrences in the betting world. We've collected several examples that sparked outrage on social media. The most famous one dates back to the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. Sky Bet offered a boosted bet for Leo Messi to have 2 shots on target against Mexico. In the end, Opta recorded just 1. This decision angered bettors. Sky Bet's post was flooded with over 200 comments, most of them criticizing the settlement. Opta ruled that the second action was a cross. But how? If the goalkeeper made a save and the ball was heading towards goal? In such situations, it's always worth checking Opta's own definition of a shot on target. Did Messi's attempt really not match that definition? FIFA's official match report recorded it as a shot on target. And that's just one example. During the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup, bettors once again questioned Opta's decision not to credit Leo Messi with a shot on target late in the match against Porto, even though the keeper saved it. So, what did Opta log instead? According to SofaScore, which uses Opta data, Messi had 0 crosses. Meanwhile, DAZN, the broadcaster, described the same situation live as a shot on target. Are these mistakes only about Messi? Of course not. There are many more examples. In one case, Kevin De Bruyne takes a shot, but Opta logs it as a cross. Another example, a shot is initially credited, then removed. Opta didn't even list it as a cross afterwards. So, what was it? In this case, it was also considered a cross. There was also a match where Bukayo Saka was credited with just 1 shot on target, a goal in the 90th minute, despite appearing to have more. The goalkeeper saves, but Opta still counts it as a missed shot. The goalkeeper is standing in the goal. Even more confusing, Courtois deflects a shot from Gonzalez. Pachuca wins a corner, but Opta doesn't credit the action as either a shot on or off target. And one of the strangest cases from Euro 2024. France vs Belgium. Kevin De Bruyne takes a direct free kick. The ball is saved by French keeper Mike Maignan. Opta logs it as a cross. Even stranger, Maignan is credited with a save from that play. But if it was a cross, why is there a save? In the end, De Bruyne did record a shot on target in the 83rd minute. But for those who bet on 2+ shots on target, the bet was lost. Why do these situations keep occurring? Football is complex. How can a person sitting in front of a screen or even at the stadium be sure what a player intended to do? Did Messi really mean to shoot, or was he crossing? Often, Opta seems to judge intent rather than outcome. For instance, if a player attempts a direct goal from a corner and misses, don't expect a shot on target. But if that same attempt goes in, it's a goal, and therefore a shot on target. The worst part? Bettors can't really contact Opta. Sure, there's a form, but in reality, no one seems to get a reply. So, bettors vent their frustrations at the bookmakers. And what do the bookies say? We use Opta data for settlement. And so the vicious circle continues. If only Opta were more transparent on platforms like X, explaining their decisions, players might feel differently. Instead, all the blame falls on the bookies, who aren't at fault in this scenario. Unfortunately, this leads to a common conspiracy theory among bettors, that Opta and bookmakers are in cahoots, settling stats in a way that benefits the bookies. So, what can bettors do in these cases? Practically nothing. In 2024, the UK Gambling Commission met with industry stakeholders to discuss complaints from players about unfair stats. The only real option is to avoid these types of markets and stick to bets that don't rely on subjective interpretation. But is that a real solution? What truly needs to happen is for Opta to become more accessible and responsive. Yes, they'd receive a flood of messages, but it would go a long way in improving trust and clarity. Right now, players complain during or after matches, and the next day, it's all forgotten until the next controversial stat. Is this how it should be? We hope things improve. Football stats will always involve a degree of interpretation. But when there's a clear lack of consistency, that's a real problem. Have you ever had a bet ruined by Opta's decision? Let us know in the comments below.